Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yes. Okay. So today we'll be covering two problems, and these two problems will be lab exercises for the next week. I have given you, I think, for 7 days or so for completing this. And these two problems are very, very simple, in fact. And coding also will not take more than half an hour. So it's very easy. That is why I decided to include two topics today. And one more point, all these are taken from the theory syllabus itself. So this will be asked for your CATs, assignments, assessments, quizzes, or anything. So all these are part of theory syllabus only. So this will be asked. So don't think that this is for lab, so this will not be asked. It is not like that. Lab and theory both are the same. In fact, some of the experiments that we cover in theory portions, we will cover that in lab also. So there is no point in repeating the same thing in theory. It is just a waste of time. So that's it. So now let us discuss what is fractional knapsack problem. So this is the first problem, and this is a very, very simple problem. We will follow greedy method here. So you can just see, I'll just introduce, I'll tell you the problem. Anyone knows what is knapsack problem? You forget fractional and all. What is knapsack problem? Can someone tell me? If you know already, many might have learned this last semester itself. In fact, in our class, we did not discuss because I know that this is there in this time, this syllabus, it's there. So I did not discuss there. But many faculty members might have discussed. Even if not, it is a quite simple problem. So it's very simple actually. What is the idea here is you will have as on the board you can see there are certain items. I have 7 items that are numbered from 1 to 7. And associated with each item, you have two parameters. First thing is the weight of the item. So these are the weight of the item. Item number 1 weighs 2 kg. This weighs 3 kg, like that. We have the weights for all the 7 items. And there is another parameter which is the profit. So the profit of item number 1 is 10. Item number 2 is 5. Like that, for all the 7 items, you have the profit also. So what this means is, if you define the problem, then this will be very clear. Suppose you are a farmer. Let us assume that all of us are farmers, and we will cultivate some vegetables, and these are different categories of vegetables. Let us assume that item 1 is tomato, item 2 is potato, or something like that. This is onion, item 3 is onion. Like that, we have 7 different categories of vegetables. And we need to cultivate the vegetable in the field, and we need to take all these vegetables into the market, which is somewhat some 50 kilometers away. Let us say that it is 50 kilometers away. We have to sell all these vegetables there in the market. But the problem is we have a container like this, and the capacity of the container is just 15 kilogram. Okay. The capacity of the container is just 15 kilogram. Given all these things, we need to maximize the profit. In what way we will choose the vegetables? Like what kilogram of potatoes you will take? What kilogram of onion will you take? Like that, you have to optimize this, because the capacity of the container is fixed. It is W is equal to 15 kilogram, and this container is actually known as knapsack. This container is known as knapsack. So that is what the knapsack problem. This can be a container just like a lorry or something, truck or something, and it is the capacity of the truck. You can imagine in any manner. Okay, or this is just a container, or this is just a bag, and this is the capacity of the bag, like that. So if you have the problem will be really relevant when you have the sum of the weights of all the items is greater than the capacity of the container. If the sum of the weights of all the items is less than the capacity of the container, then there is no question. You can put all the items in the container, take it, go to the market, sell it, have the profit. But the problem arises, or the problem becomes more relevant when the capacity, or if you sum the weights of the items it is greater than the capacity of the container. So there is a choice, there is a selection. We have to choose. And this choice should be in such a way that the profit is maximized. Okay. The profit is maximized. So what should be the idea here? Did you understand the problem? This can be applied in any scenario. I just told you one example where we have to take all the vegetables from your field or garden to the market. That was one example. This can be imagined in any scenario. But what is your idea? Any naive idea?
We will sort the items according to their profits in descending order.
Yeah.
Then we will pick one by one and check the and
And
keep adding the weight.
fill the container, and then always after inserting first item, you check
We will check.
the weight like that. That is one idea, because you can get the maximum profit. So what we are looking at is getting the maximum profit. So the maximum profit item you take first. So here, as per this example, the maximum profit item is item number 6, which gives you 18 rupees. Let us assume that these are in rupees or dollar or whatever in you can imagine. 18 rupees you will get. So you select the maximum profit item, and then like that. If you include item number 6, then you can have the 4 kilograms will be filled. Then you select item number 3 because it has the maximum profit. So it will weigh to 5 kilogram. So already we have 4, now 5, so 9 kilogram. Like that, that is one idea. But if I tell you another idea, like if you can choose the least weight item, what will happen? If you choose the least weight item, I can have more and more items to be put in the container, which will in turn make or give me high profit. This is another idea. If you tell that idea, I'll tell this idea. This idea is also good because you choose the least weight item so that you can fill more and more items in the container. If more and more items are in the container, then you will have more and more profit. This is my argument. So your argument is also correct. My argument is also correct. But if there is a problem, then there will be only one solution. What is that solution? This is all, this is discussed in knapsack problem. What is the idea here and what kind of a problem is it, like that? Okay. And one more point I wanted to tell you is this problem is known as fractional knapsack. Why it is known as fractional knapsack? Because we can divide the item. The items are divisible. Okay, we can divide the item. So you have, suppose item number 6, you have total of 4 kilograms. This means you don't need to take the 4 kilograms of the item number 6 compulsorily. It is not mandatory that you should take all the 4 kilograms of item number 6. You can divide it. Since these are vegetables, you can take 1.5 kilogram. You can take 0.8 kilogram of item 6 because these are vegetables or fruits. Like that, items are divisible. So each item can be divided. You have 4 kilogram. If you wish, you can take the entire 4 kilogram. If you want to divide it, you can take 3 kilogram, 2.5 kilogram or 1 kilogram, 0.5 kilogram, 500 grams. In any manner, you can divide it. So the items are divisible. That is why this problem is known as fractional knapsack problem. There is another version of knapsack problem, which is 0-1 knapsack problem, in which you cannot divide the items. For example, instead of fruits or vegetables, suppose these are household items like table, chair, cot, bed. If things are like that, then either you can take the cot fully or you cannot take the cot. You cannot cut the cot or divide the cot. Tables cannot be divided. Bed cannot be divided. So items like that, maybe fridge or washing machine. If you have some 20 kilogram washing machine, means you cannot take 11 kilogram of washing machine and keep rest of the washing machine there. That is illogical. So such problem, that kind of problem is known as 0-1 knapsack problem. But here what we are discussing is fractional knapsack problem, means you can divide the item. Divide the item into smaller pieces. It is not mandatory that if you have 4 kilogram total, you need to take all the 4 kilogram. No, it is not like that. But another version of knapsack problem is available. That is known as 0-1 knapsack. Either you include, that means 1, or you exclude fully, that means 0. That is why 0-1 knapsack. Here it is fractional knapsack. So that is the difference. And now we are discussing fractional knapsack. Okay. That is why I have written here. You can see some row X. You can see the last row, it is X. And this X corresponds to what quantity of a particular item should I include? What quantity of a particular item? Item number 1, what quantity? That will be represented as X1. Item number 2, what quantity? That is represented as X2. Like that. So this means each Xi is in the interval, or I'll make this more easy. I can write like this. 0 less than or equal to Xi less than or equal to 1. So each Xi will be between a fraction between 0 and 1. That much quantity of this item is allowed to take. In the case of 0-1 knapsack problem, Xi must be either 0 or 1. But now in this case, you can take 0.75 of item number 1. That means 2 into 0.75. You can take 0.93 of item number 5. That means 1 into 0.93. Like that, the items are divisible. That is why this is known as fractional knapsack problem. So two ideas are there now. One idea is suggested by someone from you. And that idea is you take maximum profit items first and start filling the container. That is one idea. But I am telling my idea is you take least weight items and start filling the container so that I can have more and more items, and that will give me more profit. But both these ideas are not good. We have another very good idea. What you need to do is you have to find the profit by weight. Okay. What is the profit per kg? For every item, what is the profit per kg? We need to compute the profit by weight for each item. So that is what I have written here as the solution in this row. This row I have written the profit per weight for each item, or this is known as Pi by Wi. So all these are Pi's and all these are Wi's. If I do profit by weight, I can get these figures, these numbers I'll get, these fractions I'll get. So you can see item number 1 profit by weight is 10 by 2, which is equal to 5. For item number 2, profit by weight is 5 by 3, which is equal to 1.67. For item number 3, profit by weight is equal to 15 by 5 equal to 3. Like that, I have noted all the profit by weight for every item. So that is the idea. And based on the profit by weight, you can start filling the container. Based on the profit by weight, you can start filling the container. So this is the problem here. And now can you tell me, I will ask you some questions from this background or from this introduction. You should answer these questions. Is it an optimization problem? Is it an optimization problem?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Then optimization problems will come in two varieties, maximization and minimization. Here, what is it? Maximization or minimization?
Maximization of profit.
This is a maximization.
Maximize
What are you trying to maximize?
profits.
Profit.
Profit, sir.
We are trying to maximize profit. So what strategy are we going to follow? What strategy are we going to follow? Is it a greedy approach? Is it a dynamic programming approach? Is it a... It's definitely a greedy approach because we are greedy about the profit by weight. The item with the highest profit by weight we will include first. So that is our strategy. If you have a predefined strategy for each step, such algorithms are known as greedy algorithms. So this is just similar to your Prim's algorithm or Kruskal's algorithm. So what is our predefined idea? Our idea is include those items which have the highest profit by weight. So we are always greedy about profit by weight, highest profit by weight first, then the next highest profit by weight. Like that, we are always worried about the profit by weight. So this is a greedy algorithm. Or this we are going to, what we are going to apply is a greedy algorithm. And one more question, what is the constraint here? If it is an optimization problem, there will be some constraints. What is the constraint here? We have a very strict constraint. Yeah. We have a very strict constraint, and that is the reason why all these business should be done. What is that constraint?
The total weight should.
Yes.
Be
You cannot take beyond the capacity of the knapsack. The capacity of the knapsack is given to you, and you are not allowed to take beyond the capacity of the knapsack. So there is a constraint. So it qualifies to be a very good optimization problem in which we are trying to maximize the profit with the constraint that we cannot cross the capacity of knapsack, and we are greedy about the and we will follow a greedy strategy, and we are greedy about the highest profit by weight, and we will start filling the container according to the profit by weight. If you write all these things in the form of an algorithm, the problem is solved. But for this particular example, let us demonstrate the problem. So first thing is, this will be given, this will be given, this will be given, this will be given. Everything will be given in the question. So at the starting of your program or algorithm, you have to first find out the profit by weight. So profit by weight, you can compute, it is just numerics. You can run a for loop and find out the profit by weight. Okay, done. If that is done, then you need to sort this in descending order. If you can sort it in descending order or ascending order, if you sort in descending order, you can start from the left side, or if you sort in ascending order, you can start from the right side, because the highest profit by weight value you should choose first. Okay. So how will our, anyway, I'm not sorting this because these are just 7 items. So you can just easily understand which is having the highest profit by weight, which is having the next highest, like that. So I'm not sorting this, but while doing the actual program, you need to sort it. Okay. So which item is to be selected first? Tell me. Now it's your turn.
Item with highest profit per
Item
weight.
one.
Yeah. Which one is the item with the highest profit by weight?
6.
Fifth item 5.
Yeah. Item number 5, the profit by weight value is 6. And what is the weight of that item? Now, what we are doing is just the implementation of the algorithm. Okay, we are actually illustrating the algorithm. Same thing, if you encode into a C program or Python program, it will be done. Okay, so we have to first locate the highest profit by weight value, which is equal to 6, and the corresponding item is item number 5. And what is the weight of item number 5?
1.
Item number 5 is 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram. Can I occupy or can I include 1 kilogram in the container? What is the remaining capacity of the container?
14.
No. Before occupying 15, our container was completely free. So we had 15 kilograms. So we now include 1 kilogram of item number 5, so that the capacity, remaining capacity of the container will be 14. And since we have included the item number 5 completely, I'll mark a 1 here, because item number 5 fully, 1 means fully, 0 means nothing, a fraction means that much percentage. That much percentage we will take, because the items are divisible here. They are potatoes, tomatoes, or onions, like that, not TV, washing machine, or fridge. Okay. Items are divisible. So next, so this guy has been included. So item number 6. So which is the next highest profit by weight?
First.
First.
First item, yeah, item number 1, which is having the profit by weight, is equal to 5. So that should be included. And what is the weight of item number 1?
2.
2. Can I include 2 kilograms fully? Do I
No.
have remaining
Yes.
capacity? Yeah. So fully I can include. So 14, that is 2 kilogram completely I included. So remaining is 12. And what I should do, I should mark x1 is equal to 1, means x1, that item 1 has included completely. That has been included completely. Okay. Which is the next item?
6.
item number 6, which is having profit by weight equal to 4.5. What is the weight of item number 6?
4.
4 is a weight. And can I include 4 kilograms fully? Do I
Yes.
have a capacity? Yes. So 12, I have included item number 6, 4 kilograms fully, so that the remaining capacity of the container is 8 kilogram. Okay. But before that, item number 6 is fully included, so I should mark a 1 here. So that also included fully. So 1. Which is the next? Everyone, are you listening? Okay. I think whether you are answering or not, you should listen. You should answer in your mind. Okay, which one is the next? 4.5 is done. Now we have, two choices. I have this here. Item number 3 is 3. Item number 7 is 3. So I can select anything because if two weights are equal, or if two profits by weights are equal, then you can choose anyone. Okay, let me include item number 3. So
We will select
yes.
7th now because its weight is less, so we can include more items.
No, that will be equal only. Okay, that will be equal only because in the next turn this will be selected. So anyhow it will be equal. You have to just concentrate on profit by weight. Okay, so since he has suggested 7, we can include 7 also, but it will not make any difference. Among these two, it will be equal. If you are doubtful after the class, you can do the reverse and you can see that it will be the same. Okay. So let us include item number 7. So 3, but that is good thinking, but it will come as equal. Okay. Item number 7, I have included. What is the maximum of item number? What is the weight of item number 7? Item number 7 is 1 kilogram. So this I have capacity 8 kilograms. So I can very well include 1 kilogram. So 8 minus 1 is equal to 7 kilogram remaining. So item number 7 is completely included. What is the next item to be taken? Next item. Third item number 3, which is having profit by weight 3, and I have 5 kilogram. Can I include 5 kilogram? Yes, I have 7 remaining capacity, so I can include 5 kilogram. So 7 minus 5 equal to 2 kilogram remains, but here I can include item number 3 fully. Item number 3 also included fully. Now next, which one is the one which is having highest? Which one are left out? X2 has not been included. Its profit by weight is 1.67, and X4 profit by weight is 1. So which one should I select?
Item 2.
Item 2, which is 1.67. So I should select item number 2. What is the weight of item number 2?
3.
3 kilogram. Can I include 3 kilogram?
No, sir.
No. So what can I do? Is the object divisible? Yes, the object is divisible. So I need not include the entire 3 kilogram. Whatever is the capacity, I can include. So what is my remaining capacity? 2 is my remaining capacity. So I will select 2 kilogram of item number 2, so that my knapsack is completely full. Now I don't have any space in my knapsack, so I'll just select 2 kilogram out of the 3 kilogram of item number 2. So item number 2, what is the ratio? Should I? Yeah, it is 2 by 3. I have selected 2 on 3. So total available was 3, but since my knapsack had capacity only 2, I chose 2. So this will be 2 by 3 of item number 3 I have selected. Now, is there any vacancy in my knapsack?
No.
No. So how much I can include X4? The item number 4, how much I can include?
0.
0. I cannot include X4. So the capacity or the value of X4 should be equal to 0. So this is how you can do this problem, and this is how it is coming. Okay, understood. So this is how you can solve the problem. If you write an algorithm or program for this, then it is done. Now let us compute the total profit. What is the total profit that I get? Total profit equal to item number 1 fully included. So 1 into what is the profit of item number 1? It is 10. Equal to 10 plus item number 2. I could include only 2 by 3. What is the profit that I get? 2 by 3 into 5 is the profit. Plus item number 3, I completely included. What is the profit of 3? It is equal to 15. Plus item number 4, I did not include anything. So what is the profit? Whatever it is, I won't get anything. So 0 into 7 plus 1 into item number 5, it's 6 plus 1 into 18 plus 1 into 3. So if you compute this, you will get a fraction. I am not computing it. That is the total profit that you can get. And this is the optimized value. This is the maximum profit that you can get with this container. You cannot have anything better than this. That is what the algorithm says. So we followed a greedy method and we found out the optimized profit. This is the optimized profit, and weight, as you know, it is completely filled. The knapsack is completely filled. So in the case of fractional knapsack, you will get always your knapsack filled. If you have something remaining, you can include that much fraction of the next item. So it is completely filled. So even you can find the weight also. Weight, if you compute like this, 1 into what is the weight of item? This 2 plus 2 by 3 into what is the weight? Weight is 3, etc. If you compute, you will get 50 for sure. Okay, that you can compute it, you will get 50. Okay, so this is the problem and this is the solution. This is how you can solve the problem, and this is known as the fractional knapsack problem. And one more thing, let us write it in mathematics. So it is actually, our objective is to maximize. What is to be maximized? The profit is to be maximized. That means xi into pi is to be maximized for I equal to 1 to n. So here our n is 7. It is already written there. So this is to be maximized subject to, what is the constraint? What is the constraint? Subject to the constraint that
Wait.
sigma xi into
XI
whatever
lesser than-
portion you include and weight of that particular item. If you sum up for all these things, it should be less than or equal to the capacity of the knapsack. W already given. The capacity of knapsack, this is equal to W. That is already given. So this is also here also the I will learn from 1 to 1. This is the function, or this is the knapsack problem if you write it in mathematics. Okay, so whatever we have explained till now, you can summarize this like this. Okay, and that is the power of mathematics. Our half an hour explanation will be just 2 lines in mathematics. Okay, anyhow, that is how the knapsack problem. And now let us see the slides just for the same thing, but I just want we just go through the slides in order to have a better feeling, in order to define the problem mathematically. You can see that fractional knapsack. So it is, you can read this formally if given a set of items. Yeah. Each with a weight. Weight is there. Value. Value means it is profit. Okay. We have used the terminology profit. So you can use it as profit. Value. Determine a subset of items. Okay. We have to get a subset of items to include in a collection. And we are forming a collection that is to be put in the knapsack, so that the total weight is less than or equal to a given limit. Yeah, knapsack has a given capacity, given limit, and the total value is as large as possible. So the profit is as large as possible. So this is a maximization problem. What are the applications? Several applications are there. Finding the least wasteful way to cut raw materials. In factories, when raw materials are cut, how to make the cut so that the wastage is minimized. Such things are there. For that, knapsack problem is applied. Portfolio optimization. Portfolio optimization and all, they are like, if you are familiar with the stock markets and all, everyone will have a portfolio and different sectors. We will purchase stocks from different sectors, so that if one sector is going down, means we will not get affected much because we are safe in other sector. This is known as the portfolio. You have financial sector, you have FMCG sector, you have several other sectors. Okay. Yeah, all these are, this is known as portfolio. Okay, this is known as, you have IT sector, you have banking sector. You might have heard the terms like Nifty, Bank Nifty, like that. Okay, if you are into the stock market or if you are observing that. Otherwise also it is okay. It's an application of knapsack problem. That's all. There is no need of learning stock market for this. Then cutting stock problem, same thing, same thing. Okay, it's also related to. And this application, this was we were telling, transporting goods to sell over a different place. We cultivated our fruits in our garden and we are selling it in a market which is far away. So our container, our truck has a minimum capacity or maximum capacity. Okay. And also this can be considered as a scenario. This is a scenario. Classically, knapsack problem is defined with the help of a thief. Thief is robbing a store and can carry a maximum weight of W into his knapsack. So the knapsack is the bag of the thief. There are n items available in the store and weight of ith item is Wi and the profit is Pi. What item should the thief take? The thief can take only up to the capacity of his bag. That is the limitation or constraint that the thief has. But he has to maximize the profit. Anyway, he is in a store and he can rob the store very well. So he should maximize his profit. So the objective of the thief is to maximize the profit. All these things we already saw. Then it comes in two variations. That is the fractional knapsack problem. Suppose the thief is in a home appliances store, then he can take a refrigerator fully, or you cannot take, or the thief cannot take it. Or he can take a TV fully. He cannot cut the TV into two pieces and take it. So that is known as 0-1 knapsack. Okay. If the thief is in a grocery shop instead, like he can take maybe 5 kilograms of sugar, 10 kilograms of rice, like that. If he is in a grocery shop, he is trying to rob a grocery shop. That is fractional knapsack. If he is trying to rob a what? Home appliances store, then it is 0-1 knapsack. 0-1 knapsack we will learn after maybe in the theory class we will learn that is solved using dynamic programming approach. Here we use greedy approach, but there we will use dynamic programming approach. So the items cannot be divided. That is, so this will be solved using dynamic programming. In this case, the items can be broken into smaller pieces. So we will follow greedy approach. Here we will focus on fractional knapsack. Okay, we have focused and we have found a solution. So this is just an optimization problem. What are the problem statement? These many things are given. There are n items. Weight of each item is Wi, which should be greater than 0, obviously. Profit is also greater than 0, obviously. Capacity of the knapsack will be given in the question. It is W. And as the items can be divided, this has to be found out. Each xi has to be found out. That is your job. That is your problem. And this we already saw. This is how the problem can be defined mathematically. Maximize this thing. This we already saw. And optimal solution. Optimal solution at the optimal solution, this will be equal to W. Even though the constraint is less than or equal to W, it will be equal to W for the optimal solution, because wherever there is a small gap, we will include that much fraction of the next item. So it will be always equal to the capacity. This will not happen in the case of 0-1 knapsack. Fractional knapsack, this is. That's it. I think we are done. Yeah, this is the algorithm. Okay, I am just giving you the algorithm. So algorithm is greedy fractional knapsack. You have an array which is a weight array and you have a profit array and you will be given the maximum capacity of the knapsack. Now what you need to do is first you need to initialize all the xi's to 0, because xi will vary from 0 to 1. So the minimum value is 0. So we will initialize it to the minimum value, and then for I to n, we can add. Okay, if it is less than W, if the capacity W of a particular item is less than W, then xi is equal to 1. Completely you can include xi is equal to 1. Whatever we have described, just we are writing it into a pseudocode. That's all. Weight equal to weight plus Wi. So this weight is to be also accordingly in every step you have to increment that weight, and every time you need to subtract the weight from here. Okay. And whenever this weight becomes W, that is the maximum capacity, you have to break out of the loop. So that is the exit condition from the loop. This is one way of implementing this. You can use several ways. You can write while loop, for loop, or whatever. This is one way, just one way of doing this. Here weight is equal to capacity. That is the currently included weight. This is the current weight. You can write this as current weight. If the current weight is equal to the total capacity, you break out of the loop. That's done. Okay. So that is how it works. And in many ways, you can this looping in this part, you can apply your own logic and you can make it attractive, make it interesting. Okay. Demo is already done and analysis. What is the analysis? What is the complexity of this particular pseudocode? If you can look at this. If the provided items are already sorted into a decreasing order of Pi by Wi, then the while loop takes big O of n time. This is only one loop we have, this while loop we have, or for loop. Okay, this is the only loop that is having this. We have two loops, but they are not nested. This is a different loop. So it will be big O of n time. And the total time including the sort is big O of n log n time. Okay, so the overall complexity of the algorithm is big O of n log n. So this is what is design and analysis of algorithms. So we had a problem, which is an abstract problem. We designed an algorithm, we analyzed it, and we identified the complexity as big O of n log n, because the major task that is involved here is the sorting of the array of profit by weight. Okay, that's it. So big O of n plus big O of n log n, that is the actual complexity, but we will take the larger part, which is big O of n log n. That is how the complexity is big O of n log n. Thank you. That's all. Okay. I think you understood the concept. Have you understood the concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is very simple. This is very simple. I think the simplest of all the algorithms we are going to learn. Okay. Now, since I am a little greedy about covering one more algorithm, you should please bear with me. You should bear with me, please. So we can discuss one more problem, and after that, after that we won't get time to code the problem today, but I'll give you 1 week time so that you can code these two problems. In fact, coding this problem will take just 15 minutes. And the next problem is also a simple one. So we can just look at that problem also. And that problem is, I think, you people, what is your condition? Like, are you feeling hectic or is it okay? Okay situation. Not very much, but not very much interested, but it's okay. Right. Right or wrong?
Yes, okay.
Okay situation. Yeah. So now we can discuss. You see only just 4 or 5 slides. It's just a small, simple problem. And the problem is longest common subsequence. Longest common subsequence. Okay. What do you mean by longest common subsequence? We need to derive a dynamic programming algorithm. So this will be our first dynamic programming algorithm. In dynamic programming, this programming means what? Programming means tabulation. So we need to draw some tables. So this is all about tabulation. You need to draw some tables. So that is known as programming, not the coding that we do. Okay, tabulation. So here you can see the longest common subsequence. Let us first understand what is longest common subsequence. The longest common subsequence problem is the problem of finding the longest subsequence that is common to all the sequences in a set of sequences. So you have a set of sequences. Often it will be just 2 sequences. You will have a set of sequences. Sequence means nothing but it is just a string. You have a sequence of strings. Let us assume that we have a set of strings, and out of which the longest common subsequence you have to find out. There will be common subsequences. There will be just one longest common subsequence. You have to just identify the length of the longest common subsequence, and also, if possible, find out the sequences as well. So it is not like a substring problem. It is not a substring problem. Substring and subsequence are different. What is a substring? You know. What is a substring?
In substring, all the characters are in continuous.
Yes, continuous, exactly.
In sequence, they are not continuous, but they are success like
they
in
should keep
sequence.
the relative positioning. It should come in succession. One should come after the other. Okay, that relative position, that order should be maintained, but it need not. It should not be successive. Okay, it can be in any location. Like if I ask you, is ON is a substring here? ON is a substring here. But if I ask you NE is a substring here, NE is not a substring. If I take the word longest, ON is a substring, NE is not a substring. Whereas ON and NE are subsequences, or for comparing subsequence, we must have two strings at least. Okay. So if I take another substring, stone. Okay. So longest and stone, if I ask you ON is a subsequence, it is even a substring also. Just like that, you can tell what is another example. Is it there? Okay. If I ask you ONE, is it a subsequence in longest and stone? Longest
Yes.
and stone. Yeah. ONE, because here also you can see ONE. Where is ONE? ONE. In between one G is there, but we are not bothered. Here ONE is in continuous, but the relative order is maintained. The relative order is preserved. So this is ONE is a substring. If ONE is a substring or subsequence, ON will also be a subsequence. NE will also be a subsequence. So like that. Okay. So let us have examples are there here. We can discuss this example. If ABCD is first sequence and ACBAD is the second sequence, then we can have length 2 common subsequences. Which are the common subsequences of length 2? Which are the common subsequences of length 2? There are 5 in number. What are those? AB is a common subsequence. You can see AB here, AB here. We are maintaining, preserving the relative order. In between one C is there, but we don't bother. It's a subsequence, not substring. AC is also a common subsequence because we have AC here, AC here. Same order. AD here, AD here. Okay. BD, what about BD? BD here, BD here. So it is also there. CD is here, CD is here. In between B and A are there, but it's still a subsequence. Okay. Now can you tell me the length 3 subsequence? Length 3 subsequence, it is mentioned that 2 length 3 subsequences are there. 2 length 3 subsequences. Which are the length 3 subsequences? Yeah.
ABD.
ABD is there. ABD. You can see A here, after that B, after that D. Here also A, after that B, after that D. Yeah. ACD is also there. It is suggesting that A, after that C, after that D. A, C, D. In between, many things will be there, but we are just finding the relative order. Now, no common subsequence greater than 3. We don't have any common sequence greater than 3 in this example, which means that ABD and ACD are the longest common subsequence. That is our problem, longest common subsequence. What is the longest? We are not worried about which is the subsequences less than the longest. We are interested in longest common subsequence. So longest should be the longest. Common means it should come in both the strings and subsequence. Yeah, anyway. What is their algorithm, I think. This fellow is too slow, not moving. I think, yeah, it is gone. I should take it once again. Can you hear some disturbances here? Can you hear that?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Then okay. Yeah. Actually, some work is going on here. And they are some furniture or something they are doing. Longest common subsequence I should take again because this. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, the idea we will come back later. Okay, if I discuss the idea now, you will not understand anything. After solving the problem, we will come back to the idea and we can see everything and the algorithm also. So the demo, first we will go to the demo on virtual board. Okay, so after that we will come to the idea. Okay, idea will be automatically understood if you solve the problem. So this is dynamic programming. I told you this is dynamic programming. First, we don't look at the algorithm, and later on we will look at the algorithm. Once we solve the problem, we will look at the algorithm. Then we will understand everything. So what is to be done is the same two sequences I am taking. And before that, I should introduce some more examples. So my question is, what is the longest common subsequence in these two? You can try.
CDGI.
Yeah, C, D, G, I order is maintained. So C, D, G, I is the longest common subsequence. If I ask you, C, G, I is a common subsequence? C, G, I? Not the longest?
Yes.
Just
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
yes,
Yes, sir.
this is yes. This is yes. Anything, see, even DGI, any CI, all these. But what GD? GD is a longest is a subsequence. GD.
No.
No,
No,
sir.
no, because D is coming after G. That is not possible. Now, if I include another letter here, E, if I include ECDGI, will ECDGI be a longest common or not longest common subsequence?
No, sir.
No,
No, sir.
because E is not, the relative order is not maintained here. E is here, but C is here. So you can see an intersection here. Whenever you have an intersection, here there is no intersection. So it is yes. But here you have an intersection, so it is not yes. But here also you can have CDGI. CDGI, which is the same thing. So here that if I prefix one E, you will not get the answer. Now, what about these two? Can someone tell me some subsequence? B, B, A, and C, E. So what is it? B, A, C, E. B, A, C, E is the longest subsequence here. Okay, like that you can identify, and this is the idea. Now I think you understood the concept, but now we should, this is with pen and paper, this is very easy, but how will you write a program? For that, we have to use dynamic programming. Dynamic programming, this programming means tabulation. So we are using tabulation. So this is the tabulation and this is the table that we have. So first thing we need to do is we need to start the string like this. Longest is written on the top or this x-axis and stone is written on this y-axis, or you can write it like horizontally or vertically, whatever way. Okay. And the first row and first column should be initialized to zeros. So that is why I am starting this S with index 1 and L with index 1. But I am simply putting 0 row and 0 column. Simply putting 0 row and 0 column. And the first row as per this table. Now I am speaking about the table. First row of the table is to be filled with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. First column also I should fill with the 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. First column also I filled with 0. Now what is to be done is take the letter in index 1 of this string and take the letter in index 1 of this string. Compare these two. So we have to fill this table. Our objective is to fill this entire table. Okay, so that we will get the value of longest common subsequence. So while filling, here you need to fill. So first thing we need to check is, are these letters matching? S is equal to L. S is equal to L. Is S equal to L? Yes or no?
No.
S is not equal to L. S is not equal to L means this table, this cell we are going to fill. You have to go one cell up. You have to go one cell left. Compare these two values and write the maximum. Compare these two values and write the maximum. So what should be written here? S and L, are they equal? No. So this is what I am telling now is the algorithm. So this is the algorithm. Compare S and L. Are they equal? No. Go one cell up, go one cell left. Compare these two values, write the maximum here. These many tasks you need to do. So what is to be written here? What is the maximum of 0 and 0?
0.
0 and 0 maximum is 0. Okay, I can, okay, everything gone. Okay, I'll draw it again. Here one line, is there. Yeah. So 0 and 0, 0. Now I need to fill this guy, this cell. This cell, what is to be done? First thing, S and O compare. S and O, are they equal?
No, sir.
No, S and O are not equal. Then go one cell up. What is the value? 0. Go one cell left. What is the value? 0. 0 and 0, which is maximum?
0.
0. So filled with 0. What about S and N? Are they equal?
No, sir. 0.
No. Go one cell up, 0. Go one cell left, 0. Maximum of 0 and 0. What is the value?
0.
0. S and G. What is to be written?
0.
0.
0. S and E. What is to be written?
0.
0. Again 0. Now the game changes. S and S. Are they equal?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes and yes are equal. They are equal. Then this idea should be changed. The strategy is changed. What is to be done is not going one cell up and one cell left. You have to do it simultaneously. Go one cell up and one cell left simultaneously means you will reach here. You will reach in the diagonal position. That is, one should be reduced from the x index and
Rows
one
and columns.
rows and column both have to be reduced so that you will get somewhere here in the diagonal position upwards, because in the downward diagonal nothing is there. As you fill, you should reach the upward diagonal, not the downward diagonal. Downward diagonal we don't have anything, so upward diagonal you reach and add 1 to this, because we got a match, so 1 should be added. We got a match, S and S are matching, so go to the diagonal position. There are many diagonal positions. So this diagonal position, by subtracting one index from the row and one index from the column, you will reach here and add 1. Add 1 means 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. So maximum need not be taken. So in this case, you take the maximum here, diagonal plus 1. In this case, diagonal plus 1. Here maximum of one cell up and one cell left. If they are not matching means one cell up, one cell left, maximum. Matching means diagonal plus 1. There is no maximum. When there is an equality, there is no maximum minimum kind of thing. Just add 1 to the diagonal value. Okay. Now tell me what will be for S and T. Are they matching?
1.
1,
They
sir.
are not matching. They are not matching means one cell up, one cell left, maximum is 1. One cell up 0, one cell left 1, maximum of 0 and 1, 1. Got it. Now second row, like this you need to fill all the table. T and L, are they matching?
0.
No. So one cell up, one cell left, 0. What about T and O?
0.
0.
0. T and N?
0.
0. T and G?
0.
0. T and E?
0.
0. T and S?
1.
1.
1, because one cell up 1, one cell left 0, maximum of 0 and 1, 1. What about T and T?
2.
2. Why? Because T and T are matching. So go to diagonal position. Go to diagonal position. You have to simultaneously subtract 1 from the row index and 1 from the column index and get into this diagonal position, add 1. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. There is no maximum comparison. Okay. Third row, 0. This is not 0. O. O and L. What is O and L?
0.
0. O and O.
1.
1.
1. Why? Because O and O are matching. O and O are matching means go to diagonal position, add 1. 1. What about N and
1.
O? 1.
1.
G, O and G, 1.
1.
O and E, 1.
1.
1.
O and S,
1.
1.
1. O and T,
2.
2.
2. Because go to upside cell is 2 and leftmost cell is not the cell to the left is 1. Maximum of 2 and 1 is 2. So that is why this is 2. N and L,
0,
0.
0,
N and O,
1,
1,
1. 1, correct.
1,
N and N,
2,
what is N and N
2.
means? 2.
2,
2 means what? How this 2 is coming? Go to the N and
Adding
N
this
are
one.
matching. N and N are matching. So simultaneously subtract 1 from row index and column index so that you will get into the position 3, 2. To that position, add 1. Or whatever is there in that position, add 1, 2. What about this N and G?
2,
2. N and E?
2,
2. N and S? 2.
2,
N and T? 2.
2,
Okay? 2. Now E. E and L?
0,
0. E and O?
1,
1. E and N?
2,
2,
E and G?
2,
2,
2. E and E? Yeah, matching. E and E matching means?
3,
Go
3.
to the diagonal cell upwards. That is this cell. There you have 2. 2 plus 1 equal to 3. What about E and S?
3,
3. E and S 3. E and T 3.
3.
E and T 3. So whatever you value you get here in the last cell, this will be the length of the longest common subsequence. So what you got in the last cell? You got 3 in the last cell and 3 is the answer for this question. 3 is the answer for the longest common subsequence. 3 is the longest common subsequence, or 3 is the length of the longest common subsequence. Now, how will you identify the longest common subsequence? To identify the longest common subsequence, what we can do is, this 3 is coming from this 3, right? Where did you get this last 3? You have to trace back. You have to trace back. Where did you get this last 3? It is because we took the maximum of these 2 diagonal elements, correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Where did you get this 3?
Maximum of 2 diagonal.
2 diagonal. So from where here you got, from here you got. Okay. This 3, where did you get?
Diagonal plus 1.
This is diagonal. So you can put a diagonal arrow here, or maybe I'll change the thing. So, not coming. Sometimes this will behave awkwardly. What will I do? I don't know. Just give me a moment. Should I close this and take again? Yeah. So from here, we were in this cell, that is cell number 55. Cell number 55, you got the value to be ended in cell number 55 from here, because there is no 3 here. There is no 3 before this. There is no 3 before this. So this 3 has obviously come by adding 1 to this 2. So from here you got. If you do a diagonal jump, or if you make a diagonal jump, you note down that letter. What is the letter here? E is the letter here. E is the letter here, both in the row as well as in the column. You note it down. This 2, where did you get? This 2, where did you get? There is a 2 again here. So
Diagonal,
this is
yes.
the maximum. So this direction we are going. So this we will not count. This we will not count. Okay. So from here we started, we went like this, went like this. Here also, from where you got this 2? That is in 3, 4. In position number 3, 4 or 4, 3. 4, 3, how will you get the 2? Where did you get the 2 from?
We added 1 to position
1
3.
to this position. So here we move, jumped a diagonal jump. So this fellow is to be noted. This n, in both row and column we have n. That n is noted. Now from where you got this 1? Because there is no previous one. So this should not be a maximum value. This is obtained because of adding 1 to something. adding 1 to the diagonal. That means we got it from here. So here also we make a diagonal move. So that also to be noted. O, that is to be noted. O. So wherever you are making a diagonal jump, you just note down that element. That will be the longest common subsequence. And hereafter all are zeros. That means no diagonal jumps. So the longest common subsequence is ONE and its length is 3. This is how you can do this exercise with the help of dynamic programming. Okay, that's all about this LCS, but not all about. We should understand the idea. So things are working if you mechanically fill the table like this, and if you mechanically write a program to fill the table like this, you have this algorithm. If you could convert this algorithm to a program, you will easily get the answer. But that is not sufficient. Why are you getting this? That is the question. For that, let us see the slide that will explain the idea. Okay, that will explain the idea. Okay, so this idea, just I'll quickly explain. So this thing we already noted what is longest common subsequence, and we saw this example and many examples in the board also. Now you can see, let us take two strings x and y. Okay, 0 to m minus 1, you don't worry about these indices. These indices just indicate that this string is from 0 to m minus 1. So x is a string of length m, which starts from 0 to m minus 1. Don't worry about it. Y is another string which is of length n, which starts with 0 and ends with n minus 1. Okay, of lengths m and n respectively. So we are explaining the idea. If you fill the table like this, why are you getting the answer? That is, even if you don't know the idea and you start filling the table, you will get the answer obviously. But that is not our objective. That is 50% learning. But if you learn a concept 100% means we should know why are you getting that answer. Why dynamic programming works here. This is the idea of dynamic programming. Okay. Now here let us assume that L xy be the length of the LCS of two substrings. So what is L? What is L? L is the length of the subsequence L xy. This you can read it as, since you have so many indices, this will be confusing. This is actually equivalent to writing this L xy, but we have included the indices of x and indices of y also. Why we are writing it, you will understand it in a moment. So LXY is the length. So this is to be found out. What is this? This is to be found out. So L is the letter that we use for longest common subsequence. L of XY. X is first string or first sequence. Y is second sequence. What is the value of this? That is the question. Okay. The following is a recursive definition. So dynamic programming often employs recursive idea, the idea of recursion, dynamic programming. So the recursive definition of L xy. So if you see this index, don't worry, you will just understand it as L xy. Okay, but I have written the indices also just to make things clear, because in the next line it will be very clear. So what the idea here is, what the idea we have using here, we have used already. That is if the last character of both the sequence match. If the last character of both the sequences match, what will happen? You are writing a recursive program. So the program will be calling itself again and again, or recursive function or recursive algorithm. So it will be calling again and again. If the last characters match, what is to be done? Your LCS value will be incremented by 1, right? That is why we are starting from the last. Why are we starting from the last? We are starting from the last because why are we starting from the last? Because if you start from the last, you are safe, because this will not be crossed. If you start from the front, sometimes you will include C in the answer, but later on you understand that C and C are crossing. C and C are crossing means you can't do this. But if you start from the last, and you can put a line like this, next to last, next to last, next to last. So you are safe. If something is crossing in between, that will not come in the answer, or that value will not be counted in the length. That is why we are starting from the last. So in fact, this is a bottom up approach. Since we are starting from the last, this is a bottom up approach, and many of the dynamic programming techniques use bottom up approach. Even though the table is filled from top to bottom, it in fact is the algorithm is uses a bottom up approach. You will be thinking, oh, we filled the table from top to bottom, and this guy is saying it is bottom up approach. In fact, it is bottom up approach because we are starting from the last. Okay, but you can fill the table from top to bottom. Okay. So what is happening here? If the last characters match, what is the meaning of the matching last characters? What is the meaning of matching last characters? It means that x m minus 1 is equal to y n minus 1. Is it so? Are you following? Nobody is answering.
Yes, sir.
Yes, what is last character matching means x sub m minus 1 is the last character of first string. Y sub n minus 1 is the last character of last second string, second sequence. These are matching. Yes. Then what will be the next recursion? One matching we got. Call the same function for x m minus 2, y n minus 2. So you have to decrement row index by 1 as well as column index by 1 simultaneously. That is why whenever we get a match, just like O and O a match, so we will add 1 to the diagonal. This is the reason behind adding 1 to the diagonal. Okay, whenever we get a match, so these last two are matching. So you got the answer 1. Your subsequence is length. Longest common subsequence length is 1. And recursively call the same operation for 1 less than from the row index and 1 less than from the column index. That is why we are adding 1 whenever there is a match. So this is the idea, and this idea is employed in the algorithm. In order to make things easy, I explained the table filling first, and now I am explaining the idea so that you can relate. Okay. If the last characters are not matching, okay, let us assume that if the last characters of both sequence do not match, they are not matching, or x m minus 1 is not equal to y n minus 1. So this is x and this is 0 to m minus 1. This is x, and y equal to 0 to n minus 1. This is y. And we assume that x sub n minus 1 or m minus 1 is not equal to y sub n minus 1. These are not matching. Then what is to be done? Then length of the longest common subsequence, this is what we are trying to find out. The quantity that we are trying to find out is equal to what? Is equal to the maximum of, this is the second case when you don't find a match, is equal to the maximum of length of 0 to m minus 2, 1 less than from this first string, x of m minus 2. We reduced 1 from the first string. And y n minus 1, y n minus 1, why we are keeping it as it is. So this is why we are keeping it as it is. X is reduced by 1. That means we are going one cell up. We are going one cell up. This means x equal to m minus 1, we keep it as it is. Y n minus 2, we are going. That means we are going one cell to the left. One cell to the up, one cell to the left, take the maximum. This is the logic. Take the maximum. One cell towards the up. If these letters are not matching, if they are matching, obviously you can add 1. Add 1 and call the same function for this. But in this case, you have to take the maximum value of two quantities, two parameters, which are again recursive calls. Length of x value reduced by 1, y value same. Y value reduced by 1, x value same. That means 1 towards the left, 1 towards up, take the maximum. So that is how the logic works. And if I tell you one example, this will be again clear. So consider the input strings. These are the two strings. Okay, same thing. Here we use the x, y, all these indices, everything. So this looks a little complex, but if you have, if I give you one example, it will be more easy. Let us assume that this is our X, this is our Y. Last characters match for the strings. So these two strings, what is the situation? Last characters are matching. You can see B and B are matching. B and B are matching means 1 plus, call the same function for remaining part, this remaining part and this remaining part. Okay, call the same function for this remaining part and this remaining part. So length of LCS can be written as length of this equal to length of, this is what we are trying to find out. This should be found out, is equal to 1 plus, because already one match, plus recursively call for the remaining part of X and remaining part of Y. That's it. Now consider the input string. If this is different, that is the last letters are not matching. Here you can see the last letter is H and here the last letter is R. So they are not matching. Last characters do not match. In that case, what you can do is, this is the quantity that we are trying to find out. This is the quantity is equal to, that quantity is equal to maximum of. So we don't know which will be counted. That is why we are taking maximum. If this is maximum, count that. If the other one is maximum, you count that. L, A, B, C, D, G. So this H we have removed and Y as it is. That is why this R is put in bold face. Okay. X is removed. X, last letter of X is removed and last letter of Y is intact. It is not removed. Here the last letter of H is as it is. We will not touch it, but last letter of Y is removed. That is why for one towards the left, that is this case, that is this recursive call, one towards the left, that is this recursive call, and one towards the towards the up, that is this recursive call. Maximum you take, that exactly the same method is applied while filling the table, and this is the reason why you get the answer. Okay. So that's it, I think. And this is the algorithm. You can see this is the algorithm. X and Y are two given sequences. Initialize X. So label of X is equal to X, label of Y is equal to Y. What is this? Now you should tell me what is this? What was our first step? If you remember.
First one, first column 0.
First row and first column to be made as 0. So this first row is made as 0, first column is made as 0. Now start from position 1 1, index 1 1. Okay, same thing. We have started from position 1 1. You can see we started from here, S and L. We started from here. Start from position 1 1. Compare Xi and Yi. Compared. S and L are compared. If they are equal, what is to be done? If they are equal, you reduce the index simultaneously. I is reduced, J is reduced, so that you are here, so that you are here. Add 1. That is add 1. Okay, done. If they are not equal, then maximum of I only reduced, J is intact. J only reduced, I is intact. Find the maximum. That means 1 to the left, 1 to the up, take the maximum. So same logic, we have applied this. So this is the pseudo code. You can convert this into an algorithm. Okay, finally, you will get the answer as LCS of last position. If M and N, then Mn will carry your answer. Okay, LCS of Mn will carry your answer. Now it is 5:10 and I think it's time to disperse. It is high time to disperse. But one more point, I enable the question. Okay, just give me a moment. I'll enable the question. The question is slightly different. So you can see the question. Currently it will be hidden from you, but I'll enable it. Okay. Just a minute. Can you see the problem now? You can check your login under assessment 1 knapsack problem and LCS. Are they coming?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. So you can read knapsack problem is straightforward, no problem. You don't worry. But LCS, you can just read and understand the question and you just suggest a logic in 2 minutes so that in 2 minutes our class is over. The question is slightly different. LCS question, all of you read, please. This question, everyone read, please. And suggest a logic. It's just same as what we have discussed now. I'll give you 1 minute. And if someone suggests a logic, class is over.
So we have to check if the longest common subsequence is same as the first string.
Not necessarily first string, the smallest string. Okay. Sometimes the smallest string can come as the sometimes the largest string will be the first string. Then you will be incorrectly returning that value. Okay, that logic is fine, whatever. So everyone listen here. Everyone, did you get the answer from? So the lab exercise. I will
Yes, sir.
write it here.
If the length of subsequence is equal to the length of string, it is yes. Otherwise, no.
Yes. So what lab exercise I tell you, is the screen shared or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's shared. Okay. So for the lab exercise, what you can do is find the longest common subsequence length. This has to be found out. And if this LCS is equal to the length of smallest sequence, sequence, okay. Then return yes. Okay. Otherwise, return no. So your test cases will have either yes or no. Okay. So based on your comparison, but you have to do the entire program plus some more things. What is additional is if that length is equal to the length of the smallest string, return yes. Otherwise, not return, just print yes. Otherwise, print no. So that's it. That is all about the two questions, two algorithms. No, it's not at over. One more thing, the complexity. Okay, the complexity part we did not discuss. Just we will discuss that. What will be the complexity of this problem? It is written there. You can read it.
Hence,
It will be m into n, big O of m into n, because we are filling the table. We have an mn table and we are filling the table. And even if you will have from the algorithm also, you can conclude that the complexity is big O of m into n, where m is the length of the first string and n is the length of the second string. That is how the complexity part. So again, we have done another design and analysis of algorithm. What is that algorithm? What was the problem? Finding out the longest common subsequence and maybe the length of longest common subsequence and sometimes the sequence even. And we have analyzed its complexity is just filling a table of length m cross n. So it's a matrix filling m cross n. So this is again a design and analysis of algorithm. So we are doing justice to our subject. Okay. So with this, let us stop. I think it's already you are fed up. So anyhow, thank you for your cooperation. It was, I understand that this is something which is so cruel. I understand this as cruel, but still I appreciate your cooperation and promise next lab onwards we will discuss only one algorithm. I stop my greedy character. The next lab onwards we will discuss just one algorithm. Okay, and I'll give you some time for doing it in the lab itself. Okay, but for this time also you complete it. I have done it in Moodle. So deadline is I think 1 week after today, maybe 6 days, I guess. So do it, and your lab exercise also to be uploaded in VTop exactly 1 week after. I think 19. Today is 19. Then I think 26. So you can download all the programs, consolidate it as a Word file, no algorithm, nothing. Everything is there in Moodle, so I can check it. But just for the sake of uploading something in VTop, we can upload something which is meaningful rather than just uploading some random files or anything. You upload something which is meaningful, that you can download all your programs, consolidate it into a single Word file, make it a PDF, upload there. Okay. You have
Oh,
one
so-
more week. Yeah.
So, last week's 2 programs and this week's 2 programs.
This
You have to
week two
consolidate
programs.
all
Yeah,
of them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All these come as part of what? Assessment 1. So that you can read from Moodle. So if you check it here, you can see assessment 1, you can have 4 questions. Divide and conquer, then Strassen's method, then abstract problem and longest common subsequence. These are the 4 questions for assessment 1. Okay. Just download the program, attach it and upload it. It will take just 5 minutes. But for before that, these 2 problems have to be done. Okay. For that you have 1 week. Okay. And also, I think tomorrow is a holiday for you, right? On account of Muharram or something, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
tomorrow itself, you can finish this in 1 hour. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much. See you again. And sorry for this long session. And
Sir,
we will meet in the next class. Yeah. Any questions?
sir, for the question you gave in Moodle, the longest subsequence, we don't actually have to